Welcome to Just Another Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Soderberg. I am joined, every week I usually say I'm joined by a friend, and I introduce the friend. But truly tonight, I would say that I'm introducing an actual friend, which everybody's friends, but that we go back a while. That's the thing. So today I have my friend Javier Roche here to talk marketing and some other stuff, maybe some Celtics. But welcome, Javier.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, bro. It's good to see you.
See, Javier and I both worked at Free Christian Church in Andover, Massachusetts for a number of years. When did you start there? I forget.
December 2010.
2010.
And I know you hate 2010. 2010.
but I was going to say 2011, which is good because I was close there. You were almost there.
Yeah.
But 2010, I had started in the previous year. So I was in 2009. And so Javier and I worked there together. I worked until 2016 when I moved back to Bangor, Maine area where I grew up for like 10, 12 years of my life, and I've been here ever since. But Javier and I worked there. Javier no longer works there anymore. He decided to move on and do his own thing, which I am super happy about because this dude over here he did his job great. You were always good at, youth pastoring. However, you always had a passion for more. And the marketing was a huge thing that you ended up doing. You did a couple different projects that were pretty cool that I kind of helped you with a little bit. But you really went ahead and did your own thing, which is pretty cool. So obviously in this COVID situation, it's probably pretty nice to be able to work from home too, huh?
Yeah, it's first of all, I appreciate you saying that, man. I'm glad that you fell for my tricks of appearing to do my work. No, just kidding.
Well,
but
there's a number of days where I was like, oh, I didn't write a sports article last night, and I went to the game. So let's see if I can.
Yeah. When COVID hit, I was 6 months into my entrepreneur lifestyle and everything, or 7 months in, and so I had already been home, So the boys are homeschooled, so it wasn't. I mean, it did get a little crazy here, but cabin fever and stuff, but not as bad as people that weren't used to working from home and the kids being home all the time. So
that's pretty cool, though. I mean, so Javier, you have Jabi Marketing, jabimarketing.com is this website. But we thought we'd talk a little bit about marketing in general. I did marketing with the church, but I also did it before that at New Sound Concerts. When I left the church, I moved to Maine and started as a marketing director for a car dealership. So we had a little bit of everything involved there. We know marketing a church or a Christian organization or something along those lines is a little bit more, it's a different way of doing it because there's certain things you have to do, certain things you can say. Things that was kind of funny, I would do like a flyer for Free Christian Church and no one knew what the font was that I used on it. And the number of times I was like, if someone just searched my computer for files, like there'd be one that has swears in it, all these different things, because the file fonts were like, oh, this is a really cool font, but it's called like F this, da da da. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cool. No one asked me what the font is. Please, no one ask me what the font is because I'm going to have to say something. But I know then I went to work at the car dealership and it was like, at least at the church, we had freedom. Like you had a certain thing you had to do as a youth pastor, like certain curriculum to go by or things like that. But like you had a little bit of freedom to do it. Whereas at a car dealership, it was like, take this national ad that we have and print it. There was no real freedom. And so one of the cool things about being able to work with multiple different companies like you do, Javier, is that you have a freedom to work with who you want to work with kind of thing. So it's pretty cool that, so what kind of range of companies do you work with right now?
Yeah. So 99% of it is digital marketing. So online, online branding, mostly lead generation. So I've worked with chiropractors, e-commerce in the K-beauty industry, med spa, car dealership as well. I think you were. I think I was doing some videos.
Those videos, yeah.
Yeah. I think I mentioned chiropractors as well, and outsourced computer IT companies, real estate, mortgage loan officers, solar, and things of that nature. A pharmacy. So
An
Yeah.
actual
So
pharmacy, not right one of those new pharmacies where they use the green
not one of
bud.
those pop-up pharmacies. But yeah, that's basically anybody that needs marketing services online needs to, and also some consulting too. I've done some consulting as well. It's funny how, and you probably experienced it, how people are kind of dead set in their ways, and they think that everything marketing is almost like a form of a brochure or a commercial. And yes and no, there's so much research that like at your fingertips with digital marketing, where it's not like just throw this ad out there and hopefully, it's like, it's hope marketing is what I call it, where now it's like you can target, retarget, you can put the ad in front of the people the demographic of people that you want to put it in front of, and you see the metrics, and there's just so much, it's just so powerful. And I just try to educate people on how to do that, and also help people that want lead generation. I like to help them with that, and I'm incorporating some CRM kind of stuff where it's like, move them along in the pipeline and automations and stuff. That's where everything's headed now. So
Yes.
yeah.
It's different world because, excuse me, because we have, I'm sitting in my den here talking to my friend Javier, doing my own podcast from my own house. So there's so many things that we can do on our own that we think we can handle. And I dealt with this trying to sell people the idea of me building them a website. It's like trying to tell, hey, I want to build you a website so you can have even if you think most people are going to go to Facebook or whatever, it's always nice to own the name. If you buy a company or start a company, I'll just use NASA because they're obviously not a small company. But if I say you buy NASA, it's this new company I'm going to do, go online and buy the domain, buy nasa.com. If you think people are going to try to, steal your branding, buy nasa.net, nasa.whatever, or visit nasa.com, whatever. Even if you forward that URL for the beginning part to your Facebook page until you get a website, owning that name that someone else can't steal is a big thing. The other side of it was, hey, I want to build you a website. No, I don't need a website. I'll just have my cousin's brother's sister's nephew who's 3 years old do it in his free time. And then something breaks on the website and they can't get help on it, or and all this stuff. And it's like, no, if you pay me some money, obviously it's not going to be free. Pay me some money. I can help you with this. And we can, whenever you need something, if something goes wrong on it or so on, you pay a monthly $10 a month or whatever it is fee, and I'll help you fix that issue or change texts or wording or whatever. Selling someone on something that they have to pay for that they potentially could do for free is hard. And something that Javier probably deals with on a daily basis is that aspect of, hey, I can just go to Google Ads and try to do it myself. But knowing certain brands or certain things or certain avenues say, no, that doesn't work this way. Let's try this one. Or how old is your person? 18, your audience is 18 years old. Okay, we should do this way, or advertise on these sites or whatever. So marketing is a thing that I feel like not enough people pay enough people to do. If that makes any sense. Or hire the person to do it for your company. Like for me, I was trying to sell people on marketing when I was like, no, you should hire me to be that person for you in Maine when I was moving up here. Because having someone dedicated to do marketing for you is a huge thing for me, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's a chiropractor, right? You shouldn't be doing marketing. You didn't go to school to be a marketer, do what you do best, and, outsource the rest. Like you probably don't answer the phones. You have an assistant or a front office, but whatever you want to call them. Right. And going to the website thing, like that is, when you own the domain and you own the hosting and all that stuff, eventually, that's your stuff. It's your property. Those are your assets and everything. When you are just, I have a Facebook page or I have an Instagram account, you're at their mercy. They can take your account down for whatever. If enough people report you falsely, right, they can disable your account. And then things change all the time. But you first of all, you have your own website, so those are your assets. It's your property. And second of all, not just anybody should be building websites. Your website works. Look at it as an employee that works for you 24/7. Optimize it. What does that mean? Like, you should have clickable buttons where it's like, set up an appointment with me now, learn more, email me here. Because at the end of the day, your website shouldn't just be like this grandiose, like, resume of what you've done, but it should work for you. It should be able to click appointments, see a testimonial here, see what people say about this, learn more, so that when you have that face-to-face or Zoom to Zoom
Yes.
or phone-to-phone conversation with a potential client, with a prospect, you don't have to do all that. Like your website, or you can point people to the website. Tell me more about your company. Yeah, we've got this tremendous my why video or about us video or whatever it is. And on the Google, like you mentioned,
Yeah.
Google Ads and all the like paid advertising and everything. You do one thing wrong, and you can break everything, or you can get your account banned, and that's happened to tons of people. And just to get on the phone with somebody at Facebook takes forever, especially these days. So,
Well, I've actually gotten banned when I was doing the sports reporting when I was living in
oh,
Massachusetts. I got banned because I clicked on my own ad to see what it would go to. Like, oh, I wonder if it's working. And you click on it,
yeah,
and
you gotta
not
test it.
knowing that you set up it on the same IP address that you're clicking on, and they think you're trying to trick the system into clicking on ads to get more money. And so it was like, because I was doing the opposite. I was doing I'm hosting your paid ad on my
Right.
site. And so they were like, no, you can't do that. And I'm just like, I just was to see if this ad works. I don't know. I
Yeah,
just thought I was
yeah.
getting more. So, but the other part about it is we were friends. We watched The Office. I watched The Office. Remember the episode where Jim was like, what are you talking about? We have a website. And he goes to the website and it's the guy shoveling the dirt saying it's under construction. Not only is a website or web domain or any of that stuff important, it's keeping it up to date. So there are companies who are like, no, we have a website. I mean, there's like, oh, go to it. And you go to the website and it's like, the last update was 2009 or something like that. Or it says you're on a different address than you even are anymore. Or the business hours are way wrong or whatever. And it's like, there's a possibility just by not having the correct information on your website could be losing up to thousands of dollars depending on the business you have. And
Correct.
so not only is having a correct website important, but having the correct information on the website is also
Right. And as I didn't even touch upon this, but mobile responsive as well, and optimize that way. I just mentioned that we just celebrated my youngest son's 8th birthday 2 Saturdays ago, the 2019. I was like, hey, we've got to order some pizzas, and I'm not going to name the place nearby. And I said, all right, because we were short on pizzas. So I went online. I went to a local place within 7 minutes driving distance. And their menu was just a picture. And you've probably seen this before, a picture of their fold out menu. And then I even tried to pinch to Zoom and it didn't work. And I'm like, they lost my business. I was going to order like 6 boxes of pizza on a Saturday, and so it's, things like that. You can turn people. It's almost like you're better off not having a website if you're going to do that. And then some websites look like they're stuck in 1995.
Which, if you're going for that retro look, then cool. But
Yeah,
like,
right.
there is retro is in now, so vintage retro is in. But
Yeah.
but it's also like, I mean, my wife. I got married. My wife and I will look online. 99.9% of the time, we'll order from a restaurant unless you order online.
Mm,
So if you're a restaurant person, having that, if you're dealing with day-to-day restaurant operations, you don't want to throw into your battle of a day-to-day operations another thing of trying to deal with online ordering, or even just a button you can click to go to someone else's company's website that has online ordering for you set up. And so the number of websites that you mentioned about the picture of the thing, I feel like every time we try to find a Chinese food restaurant, it's 99.9%.
yeah.
It's not even their website I went to. It's some sort of website that hosts pictures of menus that I got to
I've
because they
seen
didn't have an
those.
update. And then you go to pay for it. And it's like, why was it $10 more than it said on the thing? Because the menu was from 1997 and you haven't updated it yet. So I know you're paying completely on that. So it's true though. And it's like, you don't know, if someone, I mean, I guess all of you and I who are in the marketing mentality, when you see a website that doesn't look super attractive to you, but there's a
Yeah.
competing website that looks super attractive to you, you might actually look at the competing website, even if the other company is a better company, because
Right.
you don't know. And you're like looking at this one, well, this one looks like it's really nice. I should probably go with this one. And that's a big thing with chiropractors, someone who chooses a lot of times to go to these places. It's not something you're like a necessity in a sense. Massage therapists would be in the same sense. Auto mechanics,
Right.
any
Yeah.
of these places that you choose to go to, if you don't have a good presence online or you don't have good marketing, logos,
Right.
and branding, then
And
you're gonna fall by the wayside.
yeah, and the so, there's some people that I've spoken to, and they're like, well, I'm doing well, and it's like you kind of want to tell them that's gonna reach a limit, because there's a whole generation that's doing everything online, food shopping online, and yes, whether it's right or wrong, they are judging the book by its cover. They definitely are, and they're just going to go to, like, even if your page loads too slowly, they don't have the patience for that. And if you want to scale, if you want to eventually, a lot of business owners, maybe in the baby boomer, they're like, I want to be able to give this to my grandson or to my children or whatever. And it's like, all right, well, that demographic, we're online. We want to order, and reviews is huge as well.
Huge.
I don't shop, like, one of the first things I do on Amazon is, like, obviously you find the product, you see who's selling, if is it on Prime, obviously, right? And then it's like, and then let me see some reviews,
Yeah.
right? So you've got to get some reviews, and there are some people that might just give a bad review because it's, and you're probably like, I don't remember even serving this customer,
Well, that's the thing. It's like, it's also the same thing. We could talk about movies that came out recently. And you're like, that movie stunk. And I go see it. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? So there is a review-based thing that's not always going to match up. But in the same sense, if I go on there and see seller 123 has 96% approval rating,
Right.
and seller XYZ has 56, I'm not even going to look at 56. I don't care what the reviews say.
Right.
96, I'll go through and go, okay, don't care about any of the 5-star reviews because they're obviously going to be good. Let me find out what happened to the guy to put a 1-star review. And then I read that and it says, oh, I ordered it and the music sucked on the station, or whatever. The CD wasn't any good. The CD was in perfect working condition. I just didn't like the music. Okay, that person just reviewed it based on reviewing the actual album, not the shipping or the customer service of it.
Right.
Or like, yeah. So I understand, that, but reviews are super important. Now, I wish more things. The problem with reviews is that people review things normally 99% of the time when they had a negative experience. So it's like, not enough people go out there and be like, that place kicked butt. I want to see that. I want to write a review for them.
Right.
So there is, the people, or whenever we get a bad review at OBC, I was like, or in a brewing company, I'm like, going there and I'm like, they've other reviewed other places, haven't they?
Right.
What have they reviewed? And I've looked at every place they've ever reviewed as a 1-star.
Exactly.
Like, this person's just a negative person. But that gives me the user the ability to see that and research that. So reviews are a good thing in the long run.
And as the owner or the restaurant, like, to use that example, that's why you should seek out and push for positive. Hey, man, the food was excellent. Hey, awesome. Here's on the bottom of our menu. You just, like, barcode or whatever, and just leave us a review, because that'll start to drown out the people that they're looking for to give negative feedback, and so.
Speaking of the digital age in phones and all this stuff. So my dad's a pastor, obviously, that. And we talked a while back. It might've been right before my wedding, but we talked about how COVID changed the world of churches in a sense. Like, we know lifechurch.tv and all these, when you were in the church industry, I should say, I hate using that word, but
Industry. Yeah.
Whenever we talk about someone being like, oh, who's that person over there? They're in the industry. It means they work in a brewery or a bar. So in the church industry, but no, in the church world, there was big mega churches in a sense, or even local region, like Next Level Church in the New England area, who was like, had that aspect of being on an online presence pre-COVID, streaming services online and those kind of things, that once you weren't allowed to have a church service anymore, or people didn't want to for safety reasons, those people who were set up to record services with video or stream them online, who were set up ahead of time, were golden. My dad had to, think like super quick, how can I do this? And he went to a model of recording on like Thursday. Like, obviously he had his sermon ready earlier, recorded Thursday, then they just posted it on Vimeo and on their website on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, so that it would be, you'd watch it live even though he recorded it in the church on Thursday.
Right.
But then there's other people who were able to do it correctly. And there's a possibility that people switched congregations or decided to just stop going to church altogether because they didn't have that connection. Their church wasn't on top of it. So when I think back of working in a church, doing marketing, was like, those are the kind of things that if you were smart enough and thought about ahead of time, the future of an online church, they probably would have been okay. And some of these small churches around in the world are probably not doing okay right now during COVID because they weren't able to adapt. Or
Yeah.
we won't call out anybody, but there's another church in Maine who a pastor I went to summer camp with, his church just, it was him in a pew and just like setting his phone up on Facebook Live in a weird spot. And he's like, hello, guys. And it's like falling and like he's trying to do long live service.
Landscape the whole time.
And I'm like,
An angle.
And my dad thought about it. He goes, even if next week, because we talked it was about a month ago. He goes, even if next week I could do in-church services again, or we wanted to, I still think I'm going to have some sort of online presence because I might be able to reach more people who A, are maybe scared to go out, or B, can't go out, the people who are homebound, and all that stuff that he said. He may not do live services on Sunday morning, but it's going to be more interactive. He's doing Bible studies on Wednesday nights via Facebook Live, and he's doing other prayer things throughout the week and so on the internet. It's a whole other world that someone just didn't. My dad's modern. He has technology. I bought him a Harmony remote. He has a flat screen. He does internet. He does the things, and he just never did anything for his church. And it's like, if you had that person in place, me or someone along those lines,
Right.
you would have had that at the beginning. Say I hired you, Javier, your company, and was like, okay, you do some marketing for my company, and COVID hit, and was like, now what am I going to do? I need to do some things. But if you were already there, then it's your job as a marketing person to be like, okay, now I need to think about outside the box to figure out what we can do to bring business to you, or bring your business online if we can. You know, one of the things we had to think about at Orono Brewing Company was people come to our bar to drink, come to our brewery to drink. How am I going to get that in the hands of them? We decided to do online ordering and delivery. So our sales rep, instead of selling people at bars like, hey, you should buy our beer and put it on draft, he got in the car and drove to people's houses and dropped off beer at their doorstep. And so those are the things we had in mind, that if you had someone in the business to think outside the box, a marketing person, you'd probably be doing great right now. And some of these companies, a couple of restaurants in Boston who closed, the Fours and all those places,
I don't know.
probably didn't have the marketing. There are other things are involved in it, but
yeah, I don't know. It was around early mid-April, maybe. So when the pandemic and the quarantine was kind of at its max, like freak out mode wise. I saw a video. We're going to transition from churches to strip clubs, right?
There you go. The same thing, right? It's
Same
a ministry.
Same thing. Tithe. You just put it somewhere else. All right. But there was a strip club in Portland that they pivoted, and they were like, "What are we going to do?" So they started to, because they serve food at the strip club, right, and drinks and stuff. So they became like a restaurant. The strippers or the dancers, whatever you want to call them, right? They were ordering, and then they set up real quick online, like pick who you want to bring your food, and they not too skimpy because get pulled over.
So,
and then the bouncers were the drivers, and they were like, this business is really good. You get to pick. I want Tammy. Tammy to deliver my burger.
Do you know someone named Tammy that's in that industry, or you just pick that name out of the sky? I knew Princess. I want Princess to come to the house. It's the pivoting, but if you didn't have someone, at least even if you don't, because if I don't pay you a salary, like if I don't hire you for my company, Javier, to be my marketing person in-house salaried, but if I hired you at one point, who's the first call I'm going to make when I'm like, oh crap, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to tell people we're still open. I don't know how to tell people we have outdoor seating. I don't know how to tell people that this, that, and the other thing. And having someone in your back pocket that you can be like, hey, Javier, what should I do? Well, I dealt with a restaurant in Maine, so you're not nearby or whatever, that did X, Y, and Z to help market people. They went to houses. They did pay-per-click ads online. More people than ever are on Instagram because they're all at home. Instagram ads or whatever it may be. But I mean, not to go against a marketing company, but you should. If you're a big enough company, you should have someone in house that's marketing. Like, let's be honest.
Exactly.
Like,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, I love watching Shark Tank and I love watching The Profit,
yeah,
where Marcus Lemonis and all these
yeah,
shows, and they're just like, what is your customer acquisition cost? And they start with there. And it's like, some of them know their numbers, but then it's like, how do you, like, if you start a business, if you or whatever the business is, and you don't set up money for marketing, like, what are you doing? It's not like Field of Dreams, right? If you build it, they will
they will
come.
come.
It was probably like that way back in the day where there was no competition, but now you've got to fight for position, and you've got to get out there and let people know we're here. These are our hours. Come by. Here's a special for this week. You got to get creative, and do it in house or outsource it, but do it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's also thinking outside the box. So one of the things we do, I mean, I share the role at Orner Brewing Company as marketing. So one of our co-owners, Abe, also would consider under his ownership umbrella, because like each ownership person is 4 owners. One's the head brewer, so obviously he has the brewery side, and then Heather does the books and keeps everybody under control and kind of like manages. She's like the mom of our brewery. And then you have Abe, who does sales, so he goes to bars and restaurants and other places. He also is helping us expand in different regions. We're going to be in Massachusetts soon, and so there's this thing, but he also does marketing as part of it, like, which is help setting up events and doing, like, can we do this collaboration beer we just did one with a guy named Phonics. He's a record producer out of Portland, Maine, who has this special or TV show documentary on Netflix. And so it's like, it's pretty sweet that we are able to connect with this person. We've done collaborations with Sugarloaf Mountain, which is a mass. I mean, that Sugarloaf Mountain blue with the white tip mountain logo is like all over New England. And so, like, these out of the box thinking, that's all marketing. That's not just thinking about an ad click online or things like that. Another thing we do as a brewery, and this may work for restaurants or even a chiropractor, honestly, is buy some t-shirts with your logo on it and give them to people. Like, hey, you've been in my chiropractor office for 6 months every day. You could afford to give someone a $7 t-shirt. I mean, let's be honest. And we do the same thing. So we sell our t-shirts for like $18. They cost us $7. So as long as I sell a couple of shirts at the restaurant or the brewery, I can then afford to give away at least a shirt or two. Like, every 5 shirts, I can give away 6 shirts.
Right.
We're not a t-shirt company. We don't make t-shirts to make money. Our t-shirts are basically, in sweatshirts and hats and all these things, are marketing for us.
Exactly.
It's guerrilla marketing, in a sense that you're just putting it out there in the market, hoping someone would wear it to places. We send people, El Presidente, the guy who does Barstool Sports, the One Bite Pizza review.
Yes.
Yes. So during COVID, he was opening boxes people were sending him on Instagram Live, and people were just sending him packages. And it got to the point where he had, like, a truck from UPS would just drop off an entire truckload of packages at his house. And it's just random crap. But we sent him a t-shirt and a glass and some other stuff, hoping he would open it online and show his thousands of Instagram viewers our brand. We're in New York City. He's in New York City. Be kind of cool. So there's just thinking outside the box too, your traditional ways of, oh, I put an ad in the newspaper. Well, let's be honest. No one reads the newspaper anymore. You should probably stop doing that. Like, how much money did you spend on it? Oh, $3,000? Yeah, you can get a lot more advertising elsewhere.
Yeah. Those Val packs. I don't know if you know the Val pack that you get, and it's like in one envelope. And I was gonna do a video once. I don't know if I have one around here, but I was gonna do a video of kind of how ridiculous is this. Like, first of all, like, I'm not your demographic. I live in an apartment, right? And there's at least 7 like roof companies and 8 different window companies, and it's just like, and I look through them sometimes because it's humorous to me. It's like, you spend how much, and you don't know the metrics, you don't know who looked at it, who clicked, right? You don't know what all you know is that this family by this name that lives in Andover. You know what I mean?
They didn't even know that. That's all just they bought all those names too.
Maybe. Yeah.
They, you know what I mean? Though it wasn't even like, oh, we know Javier at one point owned a house or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't, because you stay in an apartment. It's not like it's not like old information. It's incorrect information, if that makes any
Right,
sense.
right, right. Um, yeah, I helped somebody with a billboard for 6 weeks. We ran a billboard. I was not for the idea. I thought that digital marketing and going to LinkedIn for something very specific, right?
Yeah.
It was a now hiring, right? um, so a billboard that ran 6 weeks. We got a seventh week because it was down for almost a whole week. So we got a seventh week or whatever. And the person spent just over 10 grand for 6 weeks and not one hire, you know?
That's, I mean, what do you think the salary was for the person they were hiring?
Right,
Right?
right,
I mean, if you think about,
exactly.
if someone's a $35,000-$40,000 salary for that position, you just spent 25% of that to hire the person.
Hmm.
So we talked, we used to do coasters at our
Hmm.
bar and
Hmm.
restaurants. I think we spent somewhere around $5,000 or $6,000 in a year on coasters. We said, I'd rather not do coasters and give people napkins to put their drinks on and spend $1,000 a year on it and give someone a $5,000 a year raise or whatever it was. Because
Right,
it's like, I'd rather be putting the money back into the people that can then verbally say, hey, I work for a sweet company. Come drink here, come eat here, come, excuse me, whatever it is. Because there's certain marketing things you probably could have gotten them a hire on ads on LinkedIn or different ads on Facebook or just,
yeah,
whatever for $2,500.
yeah,
And they could have
yeah,
given $7,500 to other things in the business. And,
right,
a billboard is old school. Yeah, I just never got billboards really, unless they were like made you go, hey, did you see that billboard?
right.
Like if it's like
It's
shock
got to be
value or
it's got to be
funny or
brilliant. Yeah, yeah, it's got to be brilliant, and the call to action's got to be it got to be pretty memorable, and not too busy, But again, I was against it, and then the company that was
Mhm.
pitching it to us, they're like, "Oh, X amount of cars are gonna travel at this time and that time," and I'm like, "It doesn't like those. That's like impressions. Impressions is just one part of the story. That's like not even your foot in the door. But anyway, so they started calling them impressions because I was going back and forth.
Yeah.
But it was a battle that I'm the marketing person for this company, and that's what they wanted to do. So next time I'm
You
sure
only
they'll tell
you
me
can
to
only
run
go
some
so
ads.
far. Like you can only tell them so much what they can do before you're just like whatever. I mean, you want to try, and then they'll learn from it too. So it's like, okay, you did it. Now let's spend $10,000 in another
Yeah,
way to see what you get for return on investment there. Because
yeah.
I
And it's
mean,
like you said at the beginning, like marketing. When it comes to marketing, and I was going to say, for some reason, business owners or whatever they feel like you're taking something away from them. Like, no, because this is my brand and this is what worked in 1990. You know what I mean? Um, and it's almost like they feel like they're being bamboozled. Like there's something's not right here. I know, egos get in the way, um, and it's like there's a way more efficient way to do this.
and there's
So,
also the proof in the pudding too. Sometimes like we obviously just got married and we had a photographer, and the photographer asked if they can bring a videographer with them. And obviously thinking back on it, I'm like, yeah, that'd be pretty sweet to have a videographer there. We won't charge you anything. If you like it, you can have it. You can buy it afterwards. Like, well, that's cool. After we saw the video, it was so amazing. We're like, that's like telling someone you don't have to buy this car, but to get in it, let's go for a drive. And it's the car of your dreams. And then
yeah.
you're like, now I have to buy it. Like, are you kidding me? And so there is some things about like, and why the reasons I even said yes in the first place is because I know what it's like. You need to have a portfolio. You need to have proof in the pudding that you do your job correctly. And so for me, it's like if I can help this videographer get a little, something in her portfolio without having to try to sell something on something they don't know anything about, I was like, I'll do that. And then I fell in love with it. We obviously we bought it and we have it now. But like for her, even if it was just all I could do to help her was to let her film my wedding so that she had something to put on her website. I was happy about that because again, the number of times I've tried to be like, hey, you should buy my thing that I'm doing or get a website or whatever. And it's like, until you have some sort of proof that you can do it. I mean, that's what you were doing back in the day too. back when I was working with you. It's like just getting people to come on board and do something. Can I do
Yeah.
something for you so that I can prove that I have this ability to do this? And now that you have a number of feathers in your caps, now you can use those other businesses' reviews, testimonials, things to prove that, you know, things are different now. It's the same thing I deal with every day, though, in a different avenue. When someone walks up to go sit down at a table at the restaurant, and my host is like, "Can I get your name and phone number, please?" And they look at you like, "What? You're not I'm looking on the wait list. I'm just trying to sit down." I'm like, "No, we have to do it for contact tracing purposes because of this has been since April. Where have you been?" Like in her mind's like, "What?" And like people going, "What? I can't have more than 8 people at a table." But do you follow the news? Like we're trying to like why is your restaurant not open anymore? Or whatever, why is this different things? I'm like, there's a pandemic going. Like it's just it makes me
What
think like
did you just wake up from a coma?
and so like some of the times like you mentioned about the billboard, it's like, do people just like, are you not seeing when you go online? You know how many times I've bought something off of an Instagram ad? Javier, it's sad. It's sad the number of times. I have a beard straightener. I have a straightener for my beard, and I don't ever use it, that I bought for $15 off of an Amazon ad. These shirts,
Marketing. The
I've spent
power of marketing.
hundreds of dollars at this company, Homage. You probably have seen the ads because you're a sports fan too. And I've spent hundreds of dollars on these T-shirts via them because I saw an ad one time, saw one shirt, and I'm like, "Oh, this is cool," and I added $150 of the shirts to my cart. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
I want to throw it quickly I want to transition quickly into some other things too, because I mean, I don't want to bore everybody to death with marketing things, but this is a cool photo of Javier and I on Halloween.
I remember that.
Look at that. Old school there.
I like the year you were Logan.
Yes, I have that picture. I don't on here. How about talking Celtics? How about this little Celtics game just before we came? But it was honestly almost right before we moved too. It was right around the same time.
Yeah.
Right around that time. And actually, Ethan goes to UMaine, or I don't know if he's this year, but he was there last year. I saw him last year at one of our events.
I want people to notice it was a Celtics game we were watching.
It was a Celtics game, and Javier.
And I don't have a Celtics shirt, so I was like, "All right, this is the closest thing." And I was like, "Man, I look like an idiot right now." Hey, but I match with the cups.
Yeah, you do. And the chair in the corner kind of matches you. Same color scheme, at least.
Yeah, you guys were off. I was.
And then look at this, babe. This is old school. Old school. Look at that.
Oh, my firstborn Isaiah, nine and a half years old. Yeah.
Jeez, that's insane. 9.5 years old, because that's not 9.5 years old right there. I'll tell you that much. Also, I don't know what shirt I'm wearing. I don't like Taylor goes, stripes aren't in it anymore, right? Speaking of so Javier and I, it was fun. We used to play there we played for a little while there. We played Battleship on our phones via the network.
You gotta tell people we had a partition that was what like 3 feet from the ceiling. No,
so we could throw things back and forth, and we could hear each other.
Yeah.
But we were in technically, so the room used to be this big. I would say 25 feet, 20 feet wide, by like 10 or 12 feet deep office that someone way back in the day had put a partition, basically like a cubicle. It was like basically a cubicle wall.
Yeah.
In a sense, with a door in the middle of it. And at one point we had the door, but then at some point we closed the door to a point where I wanted to put so we wouldn't go back and forth that way, because people used to walk through our office to get to the copier. And so we put that there, but it was so we could hear each other. And so like Javier would have a meeting with someone, and someone would say something that was like not very smart. Is that a politically correct way of saying something? Or
not very really smart, or personal, and I'm like, hey, you want to go somewhere else?
Go for a walk, like or we get a phone call from like our significant other at the time, and be like, yeah. So what were the results? Like,
I had the advantage of speaking in Spanish though.
Yes, I used to tell you though. Remember when I lived in Haverhill, there was a lady across the street who was yelling at her child in Spanish, and I was like, I'm so glad that my parents don't speak Spanish, because that sounds terrifying.
It sounds way angrier.
I told you I was thinking about it for the longest time, of me learning Spanish and not telling you, and just so I could be like, oh really, Javier, huh? And speak back to you in Spanish. You're like, uh-oh.
You should probably get that fixed, that issue.
But so that was fun. So we played Battleship back and forth. But it was really cool because like we get a break or whatever, I'd go over. We definitely killed about an hour and a half a day, if not more than that, just being like, hey, just checking in with you.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Loved it.
It was fun. I definitely missed those days because it was really hard to move when I first moved away because it was my ex's um, idea to move back to closer to her parents and stuff like that. And it really ended up hurting more because we obviously split up right away, basically when we got back here. Obviously, I'm way happier now. I'm remarried, ecstatic with life, so on.
Woo.
Ecstatic for my friend Javier as well, and his life and his family looks so beautiful right now. But it just was one of those things. It was like leaving you and Ben McDonald, JP in a sense, and other people that I knew. But like it was really like Javier and I were pretty close, and I invited him to my wedding, but COVID had other plans
Yeah.
because it couldn't happen the way we wanted it to happen. But you were there in spirit, obviously. It was
Yeah. I
my
was psyched about it.
grandmother. My grandmother could not get it through her head that my dad wasn't performing the wedding. My dad being a pastor
Yeah.
and so on. And I was like, okay, so in maybe 2 handfuls, I could pick a pastor that's really close to me that could perform this wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, so Javier could have done it and JP. And then I'm like going on and on and on. And I'm like, and I'm like, okay, then I have my friend Brian who did the wedding, my friend Jim from up here. And I like kept on going on and on and on. I'm like, Grandma, I have a number of people that could have done it. And if thinking back at it, I'm glad my friend Brian did it because he was able to stand up there, excuse me, perform the wedding, and my mom was able to sit next to my dad, who was the only other person there in the crowd that she was with. If my dad was standing up there to perform in the ceremony, she would have sat by herself, and it would have been very
Right.
sad for me to look out there and see my mom alone on a very important day in her son's life. So
Right.
it was nice to see that. But it was like if I had to pick from people, it's like I definitely could have had about a dozen people who could have done this wedding. Javier would have
Right.
been on that list too. He would have fought people, right?
Yeah, man.
You would have physically fought people.
Absolutely, man.
You would have been like, let's do this UFC style for who can perform the wedding. But we did watch a few Celtics games together, or at least talk Celtics, and the Celtics looked unbelievable last night. Tell you that much.
Last night they did. First 2 games they looked okay, not their full potential. Third game is one of those moments where
Are you ready for this?
my
You
wife
haven't met Taylor yet. You haven't met Taylor yet. However, the game, the dunk. So Tice got this amazing bounce pass from Kemba Walker, which seemed like a fitting, amazing end to a game.
Game over.
Beautiful dunk.
Game over. Yeah.
He obviously was thinking, get the basket in. If he would have waited 0.3 of a second longer, the game would have been over. We would have won it. And technically now the Celtics would have been advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals. But she goes, oh, it's only 0.5 seconds left. The game's over. And I'm like, oh, what a the most immaculate pass from I do not like Kyle Lowry at all.
Me neither.
So
no, he's a whiner.
It didn't help me like him at all. Pass the ball, but I thought the guy, what's his name?
OG Anunoby, yeah.
I thought he got a nice set shot, but when you look at the replay, it's actually like he grabbed the ball and goes, like he just shut and it went in.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I was more impressed by the pass.
Yes.
Than
over
he
Taco
got
Fall.
7-5 Taco Fall there,
What did Kyle Lowry say after the game? He was like 7-12 in front of me.
Yeah, those Kyle Lowry is
You see, Serge Ibaka got mad at him last night. But
I did read about that. Yeah. But yeah, so game 3, I was telling my wife because she says that I watch the games like a coach. I'm like, oh, I'm so into it, and I'm watching the whole thing unfold, and right before I'm like, why are we covering why are we doing a zone, number one, and why are we like getting 3 guys on Van Fleet who's running to a corner, right? And then we're leaving this guy wide open, and in those moments you guard the 3 more than the 2 because that's a game
yes.
maker, and that's exactly what happened. But last night their defense was just smothering. Absolutely, it was beautiful.
It's gorgeous, and it's like one of the things I told someone. I took credit for it, but I listened to a podcast called No Dunks. I don't know if you ever heard of it. You remember the NBA Network used to have a TV show called The Starters, and their show got canceled, but they're now a podcast on The Athletic called No Dunks, and they are diehard Raptors fans, but like most of them are, which is great. But they're very obviously down the middle on most things because it's their basketball podcast as a whole, not just a Raptors podcast. But one of the things they kept on saying is if the Celtics continue to play defense like they did last night, and then the games 1 and 2, which is forcing Van Fleet and Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam and these people to take 3-pointers from 10 feet behind the 3-point line, which is what they did last night.
Yeah,
they're going to win because they're trying to shoot these threes, but they can't get set up. They're not Damian Lillard or Steph Curry or, they don't have the range that a lot of these other players in the NBA have. And so if they continue to play defense to the point where it puts them way behind the 3-point line, taking 3-point shots, the Celtics are going to win every day.
Right.
And it's, and then you have people like Pascal Siakam, who has it's like his body went to the bubble, but his mind and basketball skills stayed in Toronto.
I think that Kenny Smith said it best when he said, being an alpha, being like the go-to, the man of a team, it's not about skill set only. It's a mindset. And he's like, right now, maybe that could change, but right now he doesn't have that mindset. You've got to make, people want to make the right basketball play, but in the NBA, you have to force the other team to adjust to you because now you've opened up 2 or 3 more other possibilities. Now I can pass out of the double team. Now this guy's wide open. Now, so you got to force their hand. I don't know how much
pick and roll works so well.
Yeah, exactly. You're forcing them to either switch, go under, and then you've got tons of options. Roll to the basket, stay there, go to the 3-point line. But what I saw yesterday was their energy on the defensive end, right? And their energy on the defensive end was so strong in the first quarter that their offense looked horrible, but then it kind of caught up. We were missing some shots, but they were so decisive in their rotations, and they're putting hands way up. And I think Shaq was saying what they did in game 4 was like hoping that they'd miss. That's a 3-point, hoping they miss. Here it's like you got to try to make them miss. You're not going to block the shot, but putting a hand up, it does make a difference.
We played basketball. We did it we took the youth group a lot of times to play basketball at Andover High School, and we would. It's hard shooting a ball with someone's hand in your face is hard. Most of us, even NBA players, can shoot over that person.
Yeah,
the hand in your face isn't gonna block the shot. What it's gonna do is think they're gonna block the shot, and 90% of the time, I would shoot way under or way over.
Yeah.
Because you'd think, I need to get it way up in the air, and then it would come 3 feet before the basket and go down. Someone would catch it in the basket, or I would, shoot into the person because I was too afraid or something. It's just hands up.
It changes. It changes it. Yeah, exactly.
And so, they did it. I mean, it's I was telling my one of the owners, Asa, the head brewer, he's a Lakers fan, diehard Lakers fan since he was young. And so I like it because it's cool to have some people that are fans of the Celtics that are friends of mine, but it's also cool to be able to be like, let's meet in the finals. Let's do this. Let's do that. And so every year when the Lakers play the Celtics, it's always a big thing for us. And but I was saying to him, I was like, it kind of sucks because minus Kyle Lowry, everybody else on that team I like on the Raptors. Like everybody else on that team, I am in love with. I love Pascal Siakam. I love Marc Gasol. I love Van Fleet. I love OG. I love Serge Ibaka. Like these guys are off.
Yeah.
So if the Celtics were to get swept, sad, it would suck. That's the team I would want to win the whole thing, minus Kyle Lowry. But like I'm just thinking to myself, I kind of wanted to win without Kawhi to be like, see, the Raptors can be good.
Yeah.
And I think talk about marketing. I love their branding. I love the Raptors colors. I mean, I wish they would go back to the Vince Carter days jerseys, but like.
Yeah.
Those like the actual Raptor dinosaur on the front of it and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's going to be an uphill battle for the Raptors for sure. Or it already is. Obviously, they're down 2 games now. But or they have to win the next 2 games. But
one thing about Kyle Lowry, I will say, I don't like him because he's super whiny. He's always working the refs, and he's I don't know if you saw when he grabbed Tyson's leg and gets the foul call, and he's never fouled anybody in his life, according to him.
Yeah.
But you look at him and it's like the guy's not the fastest guy on the court. He doesn't have the best skill set. He's not the best shooter. But man, he's got heart, and he's got so much heart and passion for his team that it gets you to hate him. It's one of those players where like Marcus Smart, love him. If he was on some other team, I'd hate him.
It's the Brad Marchand for the Bruins.
Yes.
Like Brad Marchand, everybody hates him unless he's on your team. He's there's players like that. But I feel like the difference between Marcus Smart and Kyle Lowry is Marcus Smart, I feel like, is always doing it for the good of the team. And there's a
Okay.
small part where I think that Kyle Lowry has the good of himself. He has never fouled anybody, honestly. It's not the team hasn't had any
Right.
fouls. It's
Right.
like him personally hasn't. And I guess like with Serge Ibaka last night was the best thing for Kyle Lowry in a game like that where they're losing is to argue about a call and get a technical
Yeah.
foul and give the team a shot. And I mean, obviously Jason Tatum missed the foul, the technical shot, so it didn't end up hurting them. But it's like it's that aspect of, I mean, Jason Tatum did it. It was a game 3 where he went and they gave him a technical foul, which is so stupid. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
I understand they've been calling it all season. They're trying to. That's a way for me to say that someone gave up their frustration about a call without saying anything.
Right.
Like it's like
Right.
I do it at my desk. If I screw up at work, I'm like, ah, gosh.
Yeah,
Like,
it's an emotional game. It's unfair to ask these guys. I understand like not berating and not, but come on, man. Like the work that they put into it, like we like to not we, but
yeah.
a lot of people like to dehumanize athletes because they're rich and they can. It's still a human. It's still a human, and they still have emotions. They work their butts off for this. You got to respect that.
And they're all young too. That's the thing about it. I mean, we're in our 30s, and it's like they're 21, 22 years old, working that hard, being paid that many millions of dollars to play a game, and everybody's watching them on TV and all this stuff at a very young age. But the number of times I've seen a player run up to a referee and get 3 inches from their head and be like, "What are you talking about?" and not get a technical foul. But one person, as he walks by a referee,
just
taking the foul, just throw your hands up, and they're like,
"Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, I don't know about that." But I think, like I said, Kyle Lowry has that selfishness is not fully. I think he does want the Raptors to win, but in the same sense, maybe he has the mentality in him that he does want to win without Kawhi. So it's like this aspect of I need to put it on my shoulders, and so this call is going to make us hurt. I don't know. Marcus Smart seems like he's always doing it for the good. Like he's a Bill Belichick type player, who's really a nobody.
Yeah.
But as somebody as a team, if he gets traded to a different team, he might actually not be who he is right now. Right. He's fighting for this green Celtics team. It's not himself as a person. He's not a star. He's not a star at all.
Sometimes I do feel like Kyle Lowry is either in a way like fighting for like because everybody thought they were gonna, well, not everybody, but a lot of people were like, Kawhi's gone, they're done, maybe the playoffs. But I mean, nobody expected Siakam to play like an all-star at this level, and Ibaka's still doing it.
It's unbelievable.
And they've got that GM. That GM is just, he's amazing. But I feel like Kyle Lowry is also playing for his next team. Which I mean, I can't get mad at that at the same time. But
so is Van Vliet.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing for his next team too, but he's like a calm, cool, collected. But he also hasn't had I feel like Lowry thinks that he has the resume or the history in the NBA to be able to be that person. Whereas Van Vliet looks like if he did the same thing that Lowry did, there's teams that might be like, I don't want this guy on my team because of the way he acted. But I think Lowry maybe has the repertoire, the resume to back up his actions in a sense.
Yeah. But I get the anger because it's like at that point I think they're down 20-something, 25, and it's like at some point you've got to, all right, let's go to the bench and let's start talking and start observing and let's start planning for it's not that you've given, it's just impossible.
Yeah.
Right. Let's start planning for the next game. Like, we're still a team.
But let's be honest, though, if you look at this entire series, when has the Raptors really been blowing away the Celtics? I mean, maybe game 2, not game 2.
Game
1 was, but they were like, my thought is like, when I saw the Celtics go up by 2 games, 2-0, I was like, how is this Raptors team? Every game they play now is so close. And even game 3, when they got the last second shot, was it game 3 that was the last second shot? Yeah. Right?
Yep.
Even game 3 with the last second shot, it's like, okay, you fought that hard for 48 minutes and you had to get a luck of the draw. OG Anunoby's shot went in. Like, how are you going to win 4 games if that's how you're going to play every game and hoping to get lucky? And then obviously game 5 was like, game 4 was like, okay, they had some skill and they were nailing shots.
Yeah.
They were
Jaylen Brown couldn't hit a bucket.
Which is funny because he's shooting like 50% in the whole series. He just couldn't hit a bucket in that game.
I think he put too much pressure on himself from the previous game to perform. Personally, that's what I think.
But the
And he,
Celtics are defense, and let's say defense wins games is winning games for them right now. And I feel like that's why I'm not like after watching Celtics in the playoffs, I'm like I kind of can't wait for them to play it in the Eastern Conference Finals and hopefully the finals because even against the like when we were Patriots fan too. Like even watching the Patriots in some really 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 good seasons, it's like I don't care who we play in the playoffs because no team's going to be able, like we're still going to be able to compete. Like I feel like there's some game teams that like I mean the Milwaukee Bucks right now have no heart at all.
mm-hmm.
It's like there's teams like the Lake or the Clippers are going to sweep you or they're going to kick your rear end or the Clippers or whoever. The Celtics, I'm like, we're going to play. Like the Celtics team, if they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, which I'm hoping they do, my guess is they win tomorrow night and the series is over and they move on. But it may take Game 7. If they play the Lakers, or say they get past, who would it be? Miami.
Miami.
Which again, I feel like even though Jimmy Butler's on hot right now and Adebayo's playing great and Dragic's playing great and Jay Crowder, which is kind of funny, is playing great right now.
Yeah.
Even them, it's still I'm not super worried about. I mean, it could be get 7-game series, but I'm not super worried the Celtics are going to get beat by the Heat. And then it's the Lakers and the Clippers most likely, like one of those two. Again, the Celtics played really well against the Lakers all season. Same with the Clippers. Like,
Yep.
I don't know. The Celtics team has heart, has determination, has a fearless leader, and Brad Stevens has depth. That's the thing a lot of these teams don't. I mean, the Lakers. LeBron and Davis, right?
Right.
Then you have people step up in games here and there. You got Paul George, really kind of Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. Then you have some players step up here and there. The Heat have a pretty key core of people. But the Celtics, it's like, I mean, Brad Wanamaker's making plays, and freaking Robert Williams is making plays, and freaking, I mean, everybody's making plays. Grant Williams is making plays. I still don't understand why the Grant Williams plays way more than he should. But these people are making plays, and one of the guys on the podcast goes, when Brad Wanamaker starts making multiple threes against you, okay, the game's over. Which is funny because Marcus Smart, game 1, he had 5 3-pointers.
Game 2.
But no, in game 1 he had 5 the entire
Oh,
game.
entire game.
So the podcast the next night, they do the next day podcast, and like, come on, like he could hit 5 in a game again, and he hit 5 in the fourth quarter.
5 in like a 3-minute span.
Like, okay, I'm not going to bet the over on or the under on that anymore because
they were ridiculous.
Happen.
They were ridiculous 3-pointers.
I mean, didn't he shoot make like freaking 15 of them in a game this season or something like that? I forget. It was some point towards the beginning of the season, pre-bubble. He had like a game with like 13 3-pointers or something along those lines.
Yeah, it was something up there.
And it's like him alone, Marcus Smart. Like if you play NBA 2K, his 3-point rating isn't up there like that. Like he's just making shots, and in game 2 when he was making them in those that like 3 or 4 minute span, he was just going, and they were swishing in like someone up there was just like grabbing the ball and putting it in the basket. It was crazy.
I have a cousin who can't stand him and wants him to be traded, and we go back and forth, and I'm like, you don't win a championship without a guy like Marcus Smart. This guy is on the floor. He's willing to break his neck for the team. Yeah, he'll go cold and he'll go over. He doesn't look for his shots too much. But he does what he has to do is make them defend you, right? Because he knows he's not the best shooter on the team, but he knows that that's his role. Shoot. And Brad Stevens encourages him, shoot it. But his heart and his drive is so strong that high pressure 3-pointers. I can't tell you how many times during the season these high pressure threes he makes them, and it's like his go in like without even touching the rim. It's beautiful.
It's funny too because I feel like he'd be a great candidate for 6th man of the year. But the problem is that he listens to the coach, which is what he should do.
Yeah.
Play whatever role you need me to play. I'll do it.
Guard whoever you want me to guard.
So he's started too many games. He's been in he's not played games. He's there's all kinds of things that he's done that kind of like negates him from 6th man of the year. But let's be honest, who's the 6th man on the Celtics right now? Like if Gordon Hayward was playing right now, Smart wouldn't be in the starting lineup. It'd be it'd be Walker and Hayward and Smart or Brown and Tatum and Tice. Mm-hmm. So he's the 6th man of the Celtics. But again, he's been asked to be called on too much, like Kemba Walker being out for a while. So he started a bunch of games. So because of that, they basically negate him from 6th man award. But he's the 6th man on the Celtics for sure. Like, do whatever he's asked to do. He guards centers.
Yep.
Like when they
Yep.
play the Nuggets, he's Jokic is down there like backing down Smart, and Smart's like, "I'll take it. I
Yeah.
got it. Don't worry."
Yep.
Crazy. It's a mentality that I wish I had in life in general. It's the way he plays basketball on the basketball court. Whatever you
Right.
need me to do, I'll do, and I'll play my heart out for the entire time I need to play my heart out. I'll sell some calls. I'll take a $10,000 fine for a flop. Whatever you need me to do.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the Edelman. I always call him the Edelman of the team.
Like I said,
You know.
tried to tell someone that the Celtics were the Bill Belichick style team, which is like there is no star. Tatum is the star, just like
Yep.
the Brady was a star of the Patriots. Tatum is that star for the Celtics, but everybody else is like a step below that, and they're
Mm-hmm.
all basically equal. And some of them, you're Tice. Who the hell is Daniel Tice? You're Robert Williams backing up, or coming in and playing. You're Marcus Smarts. They're just role players that fit
Yeah.
really well together. And this team seems like there's that aspect of it. I mean, they're definitely Jaylen Brown being an all-star. There's definitely stars on the team, but I'm just saying there's no runaway stars like your LeBrons and your Anthony
Right.
Davises and your Kawhis and your Jimmy Butlers and all those other players. It's like most other people in the NBA probably like, who are these people in the Celtics?
Yeah. And the system that Brad Stevens runs is like everybody's also willing to not chuck up 25 shots a night, 22 shots a night. It's a team thing, and that's why Kyrie, they just didn't fit. It just didn't
Yeah,
fit.
that's why Kyrie didn't fit. Kyrie's a pain.
Kyrie's
Another one of those.
he's an idiot.
It's another one of those players that I'm going to put on that list of people who I'm not a big fan of. Excuse me, in the NBA, Kyrie's one of those. He's never. I mean, he doesn't want to play because Kevin Durant's not playing, and he's not Kevin Smart. Or not Kevin Smart, but Marcus Smart. He's not Marcus Smart.
Never will be. No.
Obviously his talent's there, but I'm just saying he's not that team player where it's like we over me kind of thing.
Yeah. He was, when we got him, I'm not gonna lie, super excited. You put him next to Al Horford at the time, and we at Tatum, we didn't know much about. He was a rookie. Gordon Hayward and all this stuff, and it was exciting. But put a microphone in front of him, and then just see him yelling at his teammates on the court, and just like being so demonstrative. And it's like that's the stuff you do that in the locker room, and then he starts calling out his teammates in a passive aggressive way in front of the media, and it's like he was a weirdo.
Michael Jordan was hard on his teammates, like we saw. I don't know if you watched that documentary.
Yes.
It's amazing. But it was behind the scenes, and
Right.
he was doing it. He was hard on team. He's like, I don't care about you as a person. He didn't say that physically, but he's like, in a sense, he goes, I don't care about you as a player. I need you to be a better player so that I can win.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that. Michael Jordan supposedly to a lot of people was a very horrible person to his teammates, but he did it so that he could win. It's not the same. It doesn't look like the same thing for Kyrie and some other players where it's like he's doing it so that he can look good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he cares about the championships. It's like, how can I be the person who's MVP in the league?
Yeah.
And so on. So it's like, I don't know. It's
that. How can I, step out of LeBron's shadows? How can I go back to being Robin now? I changed my mind.
Exactly. And so
he
it's
doesn't
just weird.
know who he is. Yeah.
Tell you what, I got a different view of who Scottie Pippen was as a person watching that documentary, but
yeah, man, stubborn.
Wow. But also,
and Michael Jordan too. Like I grew up, and it's like you always saw him in the media and always very professional, right? Like calm. And it's like, wow, this guy what a nice guy. And then you see this documentary, and I told my wife about it. I'm like, he looks like he's psychotic.
Yeah.
Right?
He's not all there.
He'll make some stuff up. It's like this guy, he blinked twice at me. That means he wants to kill my firstborn son. I'm gonna score.
He scored 70 points on him and beat him at 36 points in the playoffs. Like, what?
Yeah,
it's
man.
true.
And the way he would beat up Scott Burrell and just
think
make
about
fun
it.
of people.
He was in it to win it. Like that's all it was. He honestly, if he never won an MVP, if he never was an all-star, I don't think he would have gave a crap. It's the idea that he wanted championships. He wanted to have the rings. He wanted the legacy. He wanted that aspect of it. Just so happened he's one of the greatest basketball players to ever play the game. However, it's like there's certain people I will give Kevin Durant the credit. He probably went to Golden State to win a championship. Like, that's probably why he did it. He didn't do it for the money. He didn't do it for hopefully long term there, whatever. He did it going, okay, this is my best opportunity to get a championship ring. I'm going to go to Golden State. Good for you. Like, if that's what you want, do it. This is a team sport. This is not the Olympics where it's some sort of individual medals and all this stuff. This is a sport that your entire team wins the championship. So nowadays, I don't blame people who Davis going with LeBron in LA, those kind of things. I don't blame Kyrie in a sense of having Durant be there with Steve Nash now as their new head coach. That's pretty crazy. But like Butler wanting
should we go there? Should we go there?
Well, having Butler come down and want someone. Butler wants Giannis Antetokounmpo to come to Miami. Like, I understand why you build your team together because of the fact that you want to win championships.
Mhm.
And it just seemed like there's certain players, Kyrie being one of them for a while there, that was just like, no, I just want to be the best player, and I want to prove to people that I wasn't who I was because of LeBron. I am a good basketball player, and it's like, yeah, you also think the world is flat, so.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, we could talk basketball forever. I mean, what I thought too is my friend Brian Keyser, he's a pastor at next Journey Church here in Hamden, a couple towns over. He was the one that performed did the ceremony at my wedding. Huge Celtics fan as well. So I thought it'd be kind of cool if how the season ends, that if we can do a 3-way Zoom with you and me and him and just talk Celtics for a half an hour, 45 minutes or something like that. It'd be kind of cool. Just do a wrap up. Either that, or if they do end up playing in the finals, right before the finals, we do some predictions and stuff like that, because it's kind of cool to be. For me,
Absolutely.
it's like I miss being in the sports world for a while there when I was just every weekend being at hockey games, basketball games, doing different things. Basketball is one that stuck with me since then too. For the past 4 years, it's been like basketball. And I just think there's something about it that, I don't know, basketball has this cool back and forth, games are close, that kind of thing. I mean, I don't know. The NBA and the Celtics, this is not a hard team to like. If that makes any sense. Like, if you want to get into basketball, follow the Celtics right now, because you're gonna love this team as a whole.
Yeah, it's Coach Stevens is like his brand of basketball. It's beautiful.
And you got a team like Danny Ainge in the head office, and Brad Stevens and their assistant coaches team, their players. Luckily for us in New England, if we wanted to go see a cheap basketball, the Portland Red Claws are right here in Maine. So it's pretty cool to be a Celtics fan this time. Hopefully they continue. I say they're going to win tomorrow. Let's say we're recording this on Tuesday night. It comes out on Wednesday. Wednesday night, I think they're going to win, in my opinion, the Celtics. So
I think so. I think
they got it. Maybe it's going to be close. I honestly don't think it's going to be a repeat of last night's game. I think it's going to be close. I think they're going to play. It's going to be 103 to 101 or 103 to 108 or something along those lines. But it's not going to be a blowout like it was last night. There's no way that. I mean, the Raptors are too good of a team to be blown out in back-to-back games in the playoffs. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But one quick thing before we go, we've already been on here for a while, is what's Real Fab Moms? Give her a shout out.
Oh man. Wow. Okay, real quick. Real Fab Moms is an online membership platform for busy moms. And if you're a mom, you're busy. So it's for busy moms. And there's it's a membership, and they have videos for how-to videos, fitness videos by somebody has her doctorate in this stuff. So it's specifically for moms. She teaches HIIT, she teaches EMOM, which is every minute on the minute, different exercises, postpartum as well, and prepartum. So there's fitness, there's nutrition. So we have a licensed dietitian here in Massachusetts. She teaches nutrition for moms. My wife teaches like the beauty, like quick makeup tips and skincare and confidence. And then we have another mom who teaches on organizing. So like organizing your space, organizing your time, your finances, and all that. So, my wife was like a one-stop, like we've got an app, and it's tons of video resources, and they're going to start focusing on like challenges, like 6-week challenges and all that. And on top of it, there's a community similar to a Facebook group, but on the platform itself, where you can talk to the, you have access to the instructors and things. And it's a growing library as well. So that's the elevator pitch.
That's pretty
not very
good,
polished, but
no, it's good because it also, like, I said, obviously would follow Gigi on Instagram and Facebook. We're friends as well, and see her posting things about it and so on, and doing live videos and all that stuff. Is that a lot of these things that I've seen for men, women, whatever, are all like specifically focused on one thing. Like,
Yeah.
here's my sign up for my subscription service for beauty, and it's
Right.
only beauty or for food or whatever it may be. So it's pretty cool. I didn't realize that it was a multiple different things. So if you sign up, you get there's options for you, which is pretty cool. I
Right.
didn't realize that. And that's pretty cool because I think it was fun because when I met Javier, Gigi was working at T-Mobile.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember it was like she, not to get too personal in finances, but you had a son, and then she was like, "Well, if I work the hours that I'm working this part-time job at T-Mobile and put my son in daycare,
It's just gonna
it's
go to
just gonna
daycare.
wash."
Yeah.
Like I
Exactly.
might actually lose money on this. So that's when I saw that. And then she was like gonna go to be a lab tech or for blood drawing, right? At some point.
Wow, man, you remember all
See?
this.
Yes, I love you guys. So no, so just thinking back on it, it's really cool to see that she's also found something that she's passionate about.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's helping take care of your kids as well, and homeschooling and all that stuff too. But like this idea that she's doing something she's passionate about and loves about, and she's not shy. We know that Javier and I know that she's not shy. She's an outgoing person, and it's pretty cool to see that she has something that's cool like that, and something that you're passionate about too, which is getting her name out there. Like I've seen some of your live videos where you're on it with her. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. I love
Yeah.
it because you're like, Aiden, as you can see, I'm not a mom.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
cool.
She's definitely having fun with it, and we're plugging away. Can I do it? Can I do a quick plug?
Whatever you want, man.
And you can keep it or not. But I have a free like online little course, and it's called Minding Your Business Online.
Cool.
And it talks about a little, more in depth about some of the stuff I talked about, like what should your website look like, why is it important, load times, and all this, and just kind of teaching like about website, social media, what platform should you be on, because people think be on all of them. It's like, no, you should be on the ones that you plan to actually engage on. Don't waste your time. And a little bit about Facebook and Instagram ads, and it's completely free. I'll send you the link and people can go. It's completely
Yep.
free. There's there's some things there where if you purchase like the tools that they're not my tools. I get a little kickback or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the only. It doesn't cost you anything, but yeah, the course is free if people want to check it out. So
And you have a website, hobbymarketing.com, JABI marketing.com.
JABI, yep.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Sweet. Absolutely, man. Anything. Send me any links you want because I put this video on YouTube, as well as my website. But in the website, we post a little post about what we talked about a little bit, and I'll put that link in there. And then in the comment or in the description on the YouTube video, if someone ends up finding it through there.
Awesome.
And then I can also share it. So we'll share it on. I share these links on Facebook and on Instagram as well because I don't know. I tried using Twitter a little bit more again recently. Like I have the app on my phone, and I
It's
feel like
dying, man. It's dying.
I feel like I only use it to find whether or not when I'm playing fantasy basketball whether or not a player is active or not. Like I feel like I'm googling Jay Crowder's name, being like, "Is he playing tonight?" And it's like that's what I'm using it for. It's more that, and then also like seeing something happening during a sporting event. And being able to being like, oh, I wonder what the people
People's
online
reactions.
say. Yeah, exactly. It's like people don't do that on Facebook anymore, which is I'm glad about. I used to do it. Looking back on the time hop, you go back and you'd see like goal for like the Bruins or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I posted on Facebook like it was Twitter, and that's true. I mean, it is a place for people to be immediate reactions, like if you're following live news events, or it's more of a news platform than it is anything really.
True.
Whether or not it's true news or whatever, but it's like.
Yeah.
It's watching a sporting event. It's a way to interact with other sporting people. Like you're seeing some of these broadcasters that are not covering the game, but they're watching the game or whatever it may be. But I tried, and I have the app. It's on my it's on my home screen still right here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. But
I've taken it out. I've taken it out a couple of times, and then I reinstall it because for different reasons, for clients and stuff. And I'm like, oh. But
it's not. Yeah.
It's very limiting too.
But like you said before, let's go on there and check on that. We'll post the link on there, but hobbymarketing.com, and then we can. But like you said, it's be on the right platforms, not the platforms that you need. If it doesn't fit you,
Right.
if Facebook doesn't make any sense, I mean, like quick thought is Orno Brewing Company is huge on Instagram, not that
Mhm.
big on Facebook. Our sister restaurant's huge on Facebook, but not that big on Instagram. So it's like
Yeah.
we do post on both occasionally, but it's like most of the time we've tried to pick the platform that works the best for us and not
Yeah.
waste a bunch of time on a platform that doesn't work the best for us.
Yeah.
Or neither one of us are on Twitter anymore. So
And
it's
by
like,
works best for you is am I planning to post content and engage with people, and B, is my target audience there, you know? So that's that's one of the things that I teach there as well, because people are just like, you got to be everywhere. I've got people that are like, I'm on Snapchat, and I go to their Snapchat just to check, and it's like, you got a video from like 8 months ago, and that's it. That's all you have.
I do love how companies try to go Snapchat. Like I remember being like at the car dealership, be like, we should be on Snapchat. Like, what the hell are we going to Snapchat? Like, what are we going to Snapchat? A picture of a car to try to sell it? No one on Snapchat is going to buy a car off of the platform. That's so stupid.
It's 13 and 14-year-olds.
And then Snapchat doesn't allow you to log in and log out very easily. So it's not like Instagram where you can switch platforms, switch accounts really easily. So it was like, there's no way I'm doing this. No.
Yeah.
I have Taylor and I have a Snapchat and with her and I that and then I have a Snapchat group with my best friends that are from up here, like my best friends up here. Those like we have a group because it's like we used to send funny pictures to each other. You see something on the street, you take a picture of it, then you just have a bunch of thread of pictures in an Insta or a text file. This way it's like it's something stupid. Like you take a picture of a guy on top of a roof doing something stupid. You're like, hey, check this out. And it goes away. That's what Snapchat's for. Snapchat is not for trying to sell a product or
right. You see, proof is in the pudding. The marketing person stopped them from going down a route that was a waste of time.
Oh, the person who replaced me might have done it. I have no idea, but I wasn't gonna do it. I'll tell you that much. Because then also it's like people advertise, "Hey, here we go, we got the Snapchat thing," and then they stop using it, and they look stupid because they did something
exactly
and didn't follow through for it. Not like, "Hey, we're trying these things," and then posting something saying, "Hey, you know what didn't work? We're gonna go away from it." They just stop using it, and then it's like, yeah.
And then you're not on for so long, your account gets hacked, and now somebody else is posting on your account.
Oh, one last piece of advice. If you do start a Facebook group or a Facebook page or Instagram page or whatever, and you let someone else in your business start it for you, get the login information from them or have them linked to your personal Facebook account so that if they end up quitting the company or getting fired or deleting their Facebook, that you can actually gain access to your old platforms or your old accounts again.
I teach that in the course.
Too many people have done that, and it's just we had to let someone go, and they had the account information, and it was like they didn't know they were being let go, so we're trying to like secretly, divisively trying to find out how to get the information from them without them knowing that we needed it before they got fired, so that they wouldn't post something stupid online. And
that sounds like an Office episode.
Oh yeah,
like a new Office, which would never fly these days. But
one of these days, Javier and I are going to write a TV show. But right now we'll just stick to what we're doing. Yeah. I really appreciate you coming on, Javier, and talking some marketing and talking Celtics and just really talking to you. It's really cool to see your face and have a conversation with you again. People say this all the time. We need to do this more, even if it's just Zoom between you and your wife and me and my wife, just to say hi and do stuff. You should jump on we have a Married Into This podcast about married life. You should get on that. We should do that together.
Okay. Okay. So different podcast.
It's a different podcast. So we do one. It was one that we started during COVID to talk about like how we do life and what we married into, and me being a huge comic book fan and her not really knowing anything about comics, but then falling in love with like Marvel Cinematic Universe movies and stuff like that. And so we talk about how we do our relationship. It's called Married Into This, like we married into something. And we talked about all kinds of things. I didn't go hiking that often before I met her, so now we go hiking. Excuse me. And then but like we just do other things too. So we have tried to start putting other couples on with us to just talk about some things that maybe you guys do differently than us. And we did one, and I didn't have the right equipment yet, so the audio podcast was really crappy. So we haven't done another one. But now I have the equipment, so we'll do it sometime. It's pretty cool. I think you and Gigi would be fun to talk about different things with you. So
cool.
But I miss you, man. Thank you for coming on, and I appreciate you talking to us. Jabimarketing.com is the website, and you can follow there, and also realfabmoms.com. Is that hers?
That's correct.
Let's give her a shout out, right? I mean,
absolutely.
So thanks a lot, Javier.
Thanks, man.